Good evening, everyone. If you've not yet had the privilege to meet, my name is Schjodt. I teach vocal music right here at Arapahoe. If that seems like a funny thing for me to say, there are also some 8th graders, some incoming freshmen here with us as well, so I've not yet had a chance to meet everyone, and that's okay. Thank you for filling out this form. It helps me with my sanity in the long run. I'm going to talk quickly, and then I'm going to turn it over to our WorldStrides representative, but just a couple of things as we get going. I'm going to ask you to hold all questions until the end. There's a good chance it will get answered, and or if it's a specific student-specific question, we can handle that at the end as well, rather than on everybody's time. A few disclaimers about this presentation. Everything presented tonight is technically still tentative, okay? We need a roster of people going, and then I submit it to the school board, and they have to approve it. It's formality, but it is technically tentative. I just want to be informative and transparent with this process. The actual final itinerary in its final form will be presented at a final trip meeting approximately 2 to 4 weeks before we depart. Who gets to go? Who can go? A member in any 24-25 Arapahoe vocal music ensemble. Why? Student travel like this with a choir, with a large group, it is an incredible opportunity to help ensembles develop, to revisit repertoire on location. It's a wonderful learning opportunity, musically, culturally. It's also really cool to see how teenagers just tend to present the best versions of themselves when they're on a trip like this. It's a chance to tour a different part of the world, to immerse ourselves in culture, to perform, to handle some of the social, emotional learning skills that everyone needs to have their attention on these days. It's a chance to build a wonderful community within the ensemble and the choir program. It's a great way to make memories, and my goodness, is it fun. The time frame for our trip is next spring break, March 2025. It will encompass 7 days and 6 nights from Friday, March 21 to Friday, March 28. That was strategically planned to allow for a couple of days of recovery on the return trip before we go back to school as our bright and shining selves. The exact time of departure will be announced once known. With whom are we traveling? We will have on the ground a bilingual WorldStrides tour guide, as well as additional LPS staff. I, of course, will be going. Ms. Permenko has already begged to be the principal who gets to go. And then depending upon how many students sign up for the trip, we may need some additional parent and or teacher and or adult chaperones to attend. Per LPS policy, we will travel at a 10-to-1 student to adult ratio. How we got here, I reached out to several travel companies and I requested several potential itineraries and bids, costs, for actually several European locations. The priority was student-focused travel companies with great experience, and things that were requested were the desired destination, of course, safe hotels, performance opportunities, educational opportunities, and then to make sure we had a chance to visit historically significant locations. After reviewing the bids submitted, I think I reviewed 8 or 10 of them in total. After reviewing the bids to select the best option, the combination of opportunity plus what that cost would be. And it was actually a pretty clear, easy choice this time, not always the case, but we will be traveling with WorldStrides this year. I have never worked with WorldStrides before, but I know them through professional circles. They do a lot of this stuff. They have reaches in multiple aspects of the globe. So those of you who went to SoCal with us a couple of years ago, we traveled with Barb. It was wonderful. They focus more on the contiguous United States. And so we went with a travel company that has reaches all over the planet. few more disclaimers. This is not a mandatory opportunity, and all school rules and policies apply. Specifically, all school rules and policies apply. In the United States, the legal drinking age is 21. In the country we're going to visit, the legal drinking age is lower than 21. However, as students of Arapahoe High School, your legal drinking age remains 21, and that supersedes any foreign laws. FYI. Just a couple other things. One number we will be watching specifically is 57. We can fit 57 humans on a bus. If we get a 58th human, that requires a second bus. Okay? And so we're going to be watching this enrollment period. Just so you're aware, there are some shared expenses that fluctuate slightly depending upon what that final number ends up being. And then also those chaperones who sacrifice a week of sleep to make sure students are safe. Their cost was also built into the per student cost. The trip itinerary let's follow was built for this local music travel opportunity. And it may be adjusted as necessary to accommodate performance opportunities. Survey says, when asked which country in Europe they would most like to visit, current AWVM students responded France, Switzerland, England, Ireland, Norway, Germany, Spain, and more. But the winner was... Whoa. Now you don't. And if you don't know the country that flag belongs to, also today's dress code, spoiler. We're going to Italy. And so with that, I'm going to turn this over to our wonderful WorldStrides representative, Ms. Danya Arafat.
Hello, Arapahoe Choir. How are you? How many of you have been to Italy before? A few of you. It's the best country. You cannot get a bad meal in Italy. Parents, you can't get a bad glass of wine in Italy. It's an absolutely beautiful country. It's so much fun. You'll enjoy this immensely. And Mr. Schjodt and I spoke for quite some time about what he wanted to do and where y'all wanted to go and the experiences he wanted you to have, specifically choral experiences, educational experiences, just life experiences. And this fit it. I mean, it really did. I've been to Italy, I think now 4 times, and every single time there's something new to experience there. It's really, really wonderful. So we're going to go ahead and show you the presentation. Before I do, just let me tell a little bit about myself. My name's Danya. I was a theater educator at secondary level for about 20 years, and I directed plays, musicals, one-acts, all that. But I also took my own theater students on programs such as this. For example, our high school was one of the first in the United States to get the Phantom of the Opera rights to do the performance. So that year I took my students to Paris and we went to the French Opera House, the Paris Opera House. My students wanted to study Shakespeare, so we went to London so we could study Shakespeare. So these are the experiences I gave my own students, and I'm thrilled that Mr. Schjodt is doing this for you. So we're going to go ahead and see this little prezi, and after that we'll show you where to go to get enrolled. I'll go through all the nuts and bolts, and then if you have any questions afterwards, please ask me or Mr. Schjodt will be happy to answer them for you. So let's see if we can get this rolling. Okay. Hopefully it'll work.
You'll your turn. It's your personal time to shine. So, step out to your most magical spotlight ever and light up the world with your music.
Okay, here we go. So why WorldStrides? When I was leading programs with my own students, I was really fortunate to travel with WorldStrides, not only as a theater teacher, but also I went with our choral group. We did a really lovely program from Paris all the way down to Barcelona, and it was fantastic. The students had the opportunity to sing in French and Spanish and Catalan, which is the language of the Catalonia region, Barcelona. It was really phenomenal what they learned and how they grew, and the performances were amazing. And with my own students as well, I was really focused on not only what they were experiencing, but also their education. That was really important to me, and their safety. That was huge, because when you send your child across the pond, you're putting your trust not only in your choral director, but you're putting your trust in the company that you travel with. So this is why I like to go over all this with you. So why us? Really, it's truly unrivaled trip quality. We're very focused on the quality of your program. We want to make sure that you have a wonderful time, a safe time, a fantastic educational experience. We are well supported, not only by our health and safety team, we're supported by so many different school organizations, educational organizations, because we are also an accredited school. That's something that's really, really important if you are a student and you're wanting to go on to university and receive college credit. And you have peace of mind knowing that you will be safe while your child is on program. We get alerts from all over, especially the Department of State, from WHO, the World Health Organization. We take it seriously when we travel with your student. We've been in business now for 55 years. Our company started in the late 60s. There was a middle school teacher in Chicago, Illinois, who wanted to take his students to study U.S. history. So where else to go but Washington, D.C. So he took his students there. It was such a wonderful trip. So he kept going on, and therefore he founded WorldStrides. And here we are today. We are one of the largest, not the largest, student travel organizations in the world. We have traveled over 9 million travelers. We're about to hit 10 million this year. Just this week, and this is the truth, I learned this in a meeting yesterday, we have 20,000 travelers on the road this week around the world. That's a lot. We have go to 400 destinations in 100 countries. We've been to 6 continents. The only one we haven't traveled to is Antarctica, but we're going to get there. And we have offices worldwide. Everywhere you go, there is an office. You have regional office managers in Italy, so there will be somebody on the ground for you at all times. And when Mr. Schjodt said you're going to have a bilingual tour director, that's true. You will have a bilingual tour director that speaks Italian. They might speak Spanish. You never know what you're going to get, but you will definitely get somebody who speaks Italian. And we do have offices worldwide, so that's really important to know. Let me see. Is this working? Okay, oh, I can do this. This is crazy. Here we go. Okay, peace of mind, real important. We have a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, fully staffed central office, and they're training personnel, so they're never more than a phone call away. That's real important to know that if you have a concern or something happens, you can pick up that phone and make a call. It's our World Assistance team that will be there to help you. We do have what's called Doctors on Call through the George Washington University Department of Medicine, emergency medicine specifically. The head of emergency medicine is there. He helps us. His name's Dr. Neil Sika. So if we have a student who gets ill on tour, who sprains their ankle, who stubs their toe, we can call and make that determination through him how to best care for your child. That's real important for that. On your program, there is free medical and accidental insurance. We have up to $7,500 medical and $50,000 emergency traveler insurance. That is embedded in the cost of the program. And we work closely, like I mentioned, the organizations World Aware, OSHAC, to stay up to minute on world events. So if there's something going on in the world, we'll make sure that your students are safe. And of course, do know this, we would not put your students on the road if we felt it was not safe to do so. Okay? Like I mentioned, we monitor the State Department, the CDC, WHO. We keep in touch with all of them. And then also we have trip cancellation interruption plans, and we'll go over those. But we have those available should you feel like you'd like to have an additional layer for peace of mind while your student travels on the program as well. So this is where you're going. You're going to go to Italy, and it's really wonderful. So you're going to hit the big three: Venice, Florence, and Rome. So let's go ahead and start with Venice. Okay, so here's where you're going to be heading. You're going to be heading to these lovely little spots: St. Mark's Basilica, the Doge's Palace, and the Bridge of Sighs. You're going to do a funicular ride, so that'll be really, really nice. Now, Venice is so lovely because it's one of those cities where there's really, you can't drive a car there. Everybody floats in a gondola or floats in a funicular, so that's really going to be quite fun for you. And you'll get to go ahead and perform in this really wonderful city. So this is one of your performance spots. Where you will be performing is going to be, Mr. Schjodt will find out that as he works with your manager or account manager to get you ready. But you will be performing in Venezia while you are there. So that's exciting. The next place you'll be performing is in Florence, and the Italians call it Firenze. Okay? So you will get to go to classics like the Duomo, which is huge, and it's amazing, and it's beautiful. And those beautiful doors are called the Gates of Paradise, and they're absolutely stunning. So you have the option, if you want to climb to the top of that lovely tower there, the Ponte Vecchio. When you walk across the Ponte Vecchio, you have a lot of diamond and jewelry merchants. So mind your wallets, so that, you know. But it's really a neat city. It's absolutely beautiful, and of course it's so much fun. And then of course the big one, Rome. So you'll have an opportunity to tour the Colosseum, go into the Pantheon, which is really one of the oldest structures there. You'll see St. Peter's Basilica. That is in Vatican City. So not only are you going to be going to Rome, but Vatican City is a country in and of itself. So that's kind of a neat little thing. So you really are seeing two countries in one. And then of course the Vatican as well. And then the Trevi Fountain. The Trevi Fountain is very famous because you have to stand there, make a wish, and then throw a euro coin in. And if you do that and it lands in the fountain, that guarantees you a trip back to Rome. So you'll be performing in these three cities. Okay. All right. So these are the venues that you very well may be performing in, and once again, they will be confirmed once the trip has been, everybody's been enrolled, and Mr. Schjodt will be working with your account managers. So, the recommended performance area, and this is a group actually performed here just last week that we sent there at the Chiesa di Santa Maria della Pietà. It's by the Doge's Palace. It's considered Vivaldi Church. It's where Antonio Vivaldi taught, and you all know who Vivaldi is. You've heard the Four Seasons, right? Then that's him. So anyway, it's frequently used, and so you'll have an opportunity to very likely perform in this location. Can you imagine performing in there and the acoustics? That's pretty stunning. It's pretty stunning. Okay, here are your Florence venue options. There's the Chiesa di Santo Stefano del Ponte Vecchio, the Piazza della Signoria. Now that's really neat because you have an opportunity to perform right there in the center of Florence. And that's a great place for crowds to just swell around and listen to you perform. And I promise you, they really do appreciate beautiful, beautiful music. They truly do. And then the Casa de Riposo. And then of course Rome, we can't forget Rome. Okay, so you have St. Agnese, St. Paul's. St. Paul's, we know what we're talking about when we say St. Paul's, don't we? And San Lorenzo. So you've got some really great locations. And then St. Peter's. You might have that opportunity to perform and sing in St. Peter's Square at Vatican City. You never know. But everybody there appreciates really beautiful music, so I promise you, you will have crowds when you perform there. Okay. So it's not all about performance. You do get a little bit of free time, and you do get to see some really beautiful things. So let's talk about that. Getting around. How do you get around? Well, you're going to get around on a coach. And Mr. Schjodt mentioned the size of the coach. You got 57 people. Yes, today I asked for our operations team to reserve a coach for 50 plus people for Arapahoe High School Choir. So they're working on that for you now. So you will have a comfortable coach. That's all your very own. So that's really kind of lovely to have. Okay? And then it says 2 to 3 star accommodations. We really do 3 and 4 star with our programs. 3 and 4 star means that you will be housed 2 to 3 to a room with independent beds. Don't worry, you're not going to be bed sharing. It's 2 to 3 independent beds, private bathrooms. The hotels are located in the center of town, and they're very comfortable and they're very clean. They represent the culture of the town that you're going to be staying in. So they're very, very safe. There's concierge service in the hotels 24/7 in the lobby. So don't worry, you will be safe in the hotels. Many of them have restaurants in the hotels themselves, so that way you can get a full breakfast. And when I mean breakfast, I don't mean like just a box of cereal and a milk. You will receive a full breakfast. So that way you'll get well fed, and then you will be able to head on your journey. Okay? So Mr. Schjodt mentioned tour directors. Yes, you will have tour guides. You will definitely have a tour director. That's real important. Okay? They are experienced in working with musical groups. They are multilingual. I like to call them field educators because they know so much about where you're going and what you're doing and about the location. They have just a fountain of knowledge and history. And so they will be there to teach you, not only just to show you, oh, look at this pretty thing. I'm going to tell you all about it. Do you see that gargoyle that's carved up there at the top of the Duomo? And let me explain who did it and why it's there and why it's so special. So those are the types of things that your tour directors do for you. They're really great. They actively lead your program. Okay, we have our own curriculum. It's called LEAP, and it's based on the hierarchy of need, or higher learning, Maslow's hierarchy, and they focus on that specifically. So you learn while you're doing things, rather than just looking out a bus window and staring at stuff. You're actively learning, so that's really important. And not to mention, they are trained on our security practices, policies, and procedures. They will meet you at the hotel. Mr. Schjodt will be in contact with them before you leave. They will meet you at the airport. They will stay with you on the coach. They will eat meals with you. They'll lead you on all the programs. They will lead the activities for you. They will stay with you in the hotels, deal with any emergencies, and take you to the airport on the way home. They never leave your side. They're wonderful. They really, really are. Okay. Oops, come on. Let's go on. It's not going forward. I'm sorry. There we go. Okay, breakfast is like this. Now, I've traveled with WorldStrides not only as an educator, but also as a parent, and I've also sent my own 2 sons on these programs. And I can assure you, and even as a consultant for the company, I go on these programs as well. This is what breakfast looks like. This is the truth. You get a full breakfast. It meets all dietary needs. If you're gluten-free, if you are lactose intolerant, if you're vegan, if you're kosher, it means if you just like meat and potatoes. It meets everything. So that's really important to know. They take care of you. Okay? And then, of course, you get local food. And you get all the good things. Fresh pasta that's made that morning. You get fresh pizza that's made that day. I mean, it's really, it's pretty incredible. You may come back a jean size bigger because the food's just so darn good. It really, really is. You'll love it. You truly, truly will. But that's how you eat in Italy. You really do. Okay. And you do get free time. Don't think that you're just going to be constantly on the go. You do get free time. So we like to give you about an hour and a half to maybe about 2 hours in the middle of your day to kind of wind down and soak in the local culture. So yeah, go shopping a little bit. Go to a cafe and sit. My favorite thing to do when I travel on these programs is I like to sit, or even when I'm traveling on my own in Europe, I like to sit in the middle of the town square at a cafe and just get a coffee and just kind of look at everybody and just kind of soak it all in. And that's my favorite thing to do, honestly. So you have that opportunity to do that. Students will have the opportunity to spend the money that you parents gave them, and they'll buy souvenirs for you on that downtime. So it's a really good time for them to go out and just have a really relaxing time and soak in the local culture and the atmosphere. So they'll definitely get that. So what is included in the tour package itself? We'll go over this, then we'll go to the website, and I'll show you everything. So this is what's included, and it is all inclusive. To let you know, it's included for both parents and students. So everybody gets the same thing, which is really, really nice. Okay, so here's what's included in the cost. All your activities and all your admissions to everything, whether it's going to a museum, whether it's going to a concert, whether it's going to a festival of some sort, all that's included. All the meals is listed on your itinerary. Breakfasts and dinners are included. That's real important to know that. Like I mentioned, we give you lunch free time to kind of do your own thing. Transportation, so flights to and from your local airport. So you will be flying out of Denver International, simple as that. You will know your flights about 30 to 45 days prior to departure. And then you have your transport by your motor coach. So you will have a coach driver with you the entire time. You have your hotels that are high quality and they're vetted, like I mentioned, 3-star or higher. You will have your tour director with you, and then your concert performances. You will have 3 concert performances for your trip. Okay. Also, college credits. Now, I am hopeful that your student will be moving on to higher education, and if they don't, that's cool. If they do, that's cool too. If they choose to, they have this opportunity. This is offered for students rising in grades 9 through grades 12. So it's really great. We offer credits through George Mason University in Virginia. We have a program. It's called Global Perspectives. In your case, it would focus specifically on your musical experience while you are in Italy. So it's real simple. You would take your trip, then when you come home, there is a link on your trip website that links you to your Schoology platform that links to the educational program or the platform that you'd be taking. It's either a 1-hour or a 3-hour course. Then the students would be required to do the coursework. When they do this coursework, it's about 60 hours of coursework that need to be completed within 6 months of travel. There could be reflective pieces, there could be an essay, there could be a project that your students are going to be asked to do. It is then reviewed by our curriculum and academics team, and then your student would receive a transcript for 3 hours of college credit. Now, an international college credit hour is about $1,500. Out of state, it's about $500 to $600. These are rolled into your package. And your student would get a transcript, and wherever they go to university, that university would accept it as a humanities credit, a fine arts credit, or an elective credit. My own son did this. My younger son actually did this a few years ago when I led a group to China. And he was able to do, he only decided to do 1-hour credit because he just felt like it. He did 1-hour credit, and it helped him when he went off to school down at UT. So I strongly encourage that every student take the opportunity to do this course. Also, payment options and financial assistance. So there are 4 different methods on paying for the trip, enrolling and paying for the trip. 2 of the methods, one is option pay in full after $99 deposit, or you split up the payments monthly, or choose payment plans. It says as low as $199 a month. We're going to go over those for you so that way everything's clear and you can go home and make an informed decision. We also have financial assistance. If you feel you need this, please apply for it. It's through our FLAG scholarship program. If you are a family that has an adjusted gross income of $85,000 or less and you would like your child to travel, then once your child enrolls on the trip, you have 45 days to reach us, WorldStrides Financial Services. Tell us that you would like your child to be applying for the financial aid. You can receive up to $600 in financial aid for your students. And all that money goes towards your child's trip. We don't turn families away. I've seen amounts as small as $200, and I saw one a few years back like $475. But $600 is the max you can receive. So if you feel like this is something you need, I strongly suggest that you do that. It's only for students, by the way. I have had that question in the past, can adults apply for the financial aid? It's only for students, for student accounts. So, and then we have individual fundraising and school and group. I will go over the individual fundraising platform that we have. I'm sure that Mr. Schjodt may have something in the works for group fundraising. So we will discuss the individual fundraising platform for you as well. So you need to get your passports. If you're going to go, you got to get them because there is a backlog, big time. So get ready to go. So you need that trip ID number. That's really important. The trip ID number is Schjodt, SCHJODT-6009. That's the most important number that you need to know tonight. That will get you to the trip website, and that will help get you enrolled, whether you're enrolling online, through the mail, or you are enrolling with a phone, okay? So I'm going to show you how to go online to enroll on the program. I'm going to show you the platform. I'm going to show you the cost of the trip. I'm going to show you everything. Mr. Schjodt, do you want to pass these envelopes out while I do that? Thank you. Okay, and that's our customer support number, 800-771-5353. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go right now to the website and show you how to get there. Okay, so it's performing.worldstrides.com. Okay, Mr. Schott's handing out envelopes for you now. They're invitations, but I'm going to show you how to get to the website, and so that way you'll see not only the pricing of the trip, but then you'll also see how to enroll. So you would go to performing.worldstrides.com. It's right up there at the very top. You can see that. Please remember that website, performing.worldstrides.com. Okay? You would enter the trip ID number, and it's SCHJODT-6009. You're going to go to the enroll page, enroll button right here, okay? And it says access tour page. So you click on that, and this is where you would go. Okay, this is the price of the program. It's all inclusive, and I'll go over what's included in it so that you know. The inclusive price is $3,964. That is also the adult price. That is the adult price as well, okay? So this is the itinerary. It is an 8-day itinerary. You do 6 days on the ground and 2 days traveling. So you land in Venice. You'll meet your tour director. You'll check into your hotel, and then you'll spend your whole day in Venice doing the Bridge of Sighs, the Doge's Palace, guided sightseeing. You will have your very first choral performance in Venice that evening. Basically, day 2 of your trip, the day you land, or the day 3 you land, you're there, you're performing. Day 4, you will then head to Florence. So you'll have a walking sightseeing tour with your Whisper headset. You'll be there with your tour director doing that. And you'll get to go up the Duomo. Day 5, you get to visit the Accademia. The Accademia is where that big old statue of David is. So you'll see David. And then you'll have your Florence choral performance. Day 6, you will then travel to Rome. And you will also get to go into Vatican City. So you're going into a different country where the Pope is the head of state. So you'll get to see the Vatican City guided walking tour for Whisper headsets. You'll get to see Vatican Museum, the Sistine Chapel, which is stunning, St. Peter's Basilica. You'll get to walk through Rome. Day 7, you do the Rome guided walking tour. You'll get to see the Colosseum, the Forum Romanum, and the choral performance in Rome. And then you go home on day 8. As you can see right here, you start in Venice. This is where you fly in. You do 2 nights in Venice. You do 2 nights in Florence. You do 2 nights in Rome, and then you head on home. That's how it works. Mr. Schjodt decided Naples would be something for another time. So we're just going to do those cities, but still, there's a lot packed into those 3 cities. They're amazing. This is what the price of the trip includes. It includes all your round-trip airfare and your coaching, like I mentioned. It says accommodation of 3 or 4 star hotels, like I mentioned. It includes your breakfast and your dinners, and there are 3 courses. So you normally get an appetizer, so like an antipasti is what you would get, or a salad dish. Then you would get your main meal and then a dessert. So you have that. Your WorldStrides tour director will be with you the whole time. Your local guides and sites are there. All of your venue arrangements and your concert and your promotional costs, because we will advertise your performances while you are in Italy. Real important to know that. You have the LEAP curriculum that we offer, all the entrances and transportations to sites, your local guide and bus driver tips, you don't need to worry about that. The basic medical and dental, your on-tour emergency support, 3 college credits, and you get dinner when you arrive and breakfast when you depart. This is what is not included. Your baggage fees of the airline. If they charge you more, like if you take a bag that's 50 pounds or 51 pounds or more, they're going to charge you, just letting you know that. If you're transporting any type of music or instruments, then that is a conversation that Mr. Schjodt would have with his account manager. Passport or visa fees, you're going to need to take care of that. That's really, really important, okay? Tips for the tour director, multi-day bus drivers. I believe that's included. So prepaid tips, things of that nature. So that's what is included in the cost of the program. So currently, the program fee is all included, $3,964. The last day for the tour fee, and it says the voucher is April 18th. Now there's a $200 early enrollment voucher included in this. It expires April 18th. So on the 19th, there's a very good chance that voucher will be gone, and then the trip price goes up to $4,164. So if you'd like to enroll, I would strongly suggest that you do so very, very soon. If you do the initial payment of $99, then you have 10 monthly payments of $386.50. So that's one way you can enroll. And then you would just click sign up now right here to get enrolled. Okay? So now that you have these, I know there's a lot of information. I know it's a lot. I know it's a lot. But it's something you can, go home and talk about over dinner. So I do understand. So in your packet, you will have this flyer right here. And I'll show you how you can get enrolled and talk about the different plans that we offer. Okay. So it says Performing Arts Italy. This is the page you want to look at, and I want to go over it with you really, really quick, and then I'll talk to you a little bit about protection plans and things like that, so that way you're well informed. All right. It shows you the trip info, the program dates, and the travel dates. And Mr. Schjodt, we talked about the dates, which is the 21st to the 28th. We do ask for a little flexibility on one day before or one day after for flight reasons, but I'm pretty sure you should be able to get your dates. Okay? So you have the Advantage payment, or you have the Easy Pay. So letting you know that's what we just discussed. That's $99 for the 10 monthly payments. Okay? We also have what's called Advantage Payment Plan. And let me bring that one up for you. It's really a popular one. So let me put this down. All right, here it is. This is a really popular plan. Now, my younger son graduated from high school in 2018, and he went on a trip to Germany. This is how I paid for it, and it worked. It was great for me, because I'm a single mom, and so I was like, I gotta figure a way to pay for this kid's trip, and I did. It was great. Okay, so it's really, really fantastic. If you think, oh, well, that Easy Pay monthly payment is huge, which when I sent my son to Germany, I thought, wow, that's, this was great for me because it worked with me, with my payment schedules and everything. So what we did is, we have something called this APP, is what we like to call it, where you can take your payments and stretch them out, and you can continue to pay even after the child has come home. So that's kind of nice. Or you can make smaller payments, and then right before you leave, pay the trip off in one fell swoop. That's the way I did it, and it was really helpful. So the initial trip deposit would be $300, rather than the $99, it'd be $300. Then your monthly payment would be $199 or $299 or $399, depending on the date of registration. In your case, it would now be $299 from now until the 30th of June. You would only pay $299 a month. That's it. As long as you have 60% of your trip balance paid before you depart, then your child can depart. When you come back, you just pay off the remaining balance. It's as simple as that. It's really nice. And the payments are debited automatically each month from whatever account you ask. Do know that WorldStrides is now charging a credit card fee of about 2.5%. So if you choose this method or the Easy Pay method, I strongly suggest you use a debit card to avoid that credit card processing fee. Okay? So the only way you can enroll in this plan is by calling WorldStrides, and that's the number you need to call, 1-800-771-5353. This plan is not offered online. So when you go enroll, you either have the Easy Pay plan, which is $99 down, and then there's 10 monthly payments, or you can pay in full in one fell swoop, or you go to the manual payment plan. So those are your three. The manual payment plan are 4 separate payments. I would strongly suggest if you want this one, please call WorldStrides to get your child enrolled. Make sure you have the trip ID number Schjodt-6009, and then they'll go ahead and take care of that for you. But that's what I would suggest. Okay. And then we have the 4-step manual pay. That's what I mentioned right here. It's in here as well. So you can pay $99 upon enrollment, then $500 toward your tour fee within 30 days after enrolling. 90% of your balance is due 110 days prior to departure, and the final remaining balance due 75 days. That's the third way you can make the payment. And then, of course, the fourth is paid in full. So those are the 4 ways that you can decide how you want to pay for the trip. And then I mentioned the flight financial assistance. That's really, really important. If you feel you need that, please take advantage of that opportunity. Okay. And now I want to go over gift of education, which is fundraising, and then we'll go over the travel cancellation plans, and then we'll call it a night after we get questions. Okay, this is the gift of education. We call it in our world the gift of performance travel. This is our most popular fundraising platform. It's really stunning. It's really amazing. I have groups that are currently traveling to Scotland for the Edinburgh Festival Fringe to perform theatrically, and they're raising $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 on this. And that's the truth. It's really wonderful. Every student has an individual fundraising platform, and all they've got to do on this is when they enroll in the trip, they click their fundraising page, gift of education fundraising page, and they set up their own platform. Once they set up their own platform, they can send this link, email out to friends, family members, community members, and ask, hey, can you donate to my trip? And then 100% of this money that a child raises goes towards their program. It's a really wonderful way to raise money for the trip. So if you choose to do this, I would definitely do it. So this is something that I would strongly suggest that you do. It says performing tour. Right there, let me go to it. Let me see if it loads. Yep, that's how it is. It's a personal fundraising page. So once you're logged in, this is what it looks like. You log in your trip. Gift of education fundraising page is down there on your trip platform page. And then you go ahead and build your page and you send out the URL to anybody you want, and then they donate. It's as simple as that. 100% of the money that you raise goes to your account, students. It's really important to know. Okay? So the last thing I want to go over, and then when Mr. Schjodt, oh there he is, okay, we'll go ahead and talk about travel protection. So we do have travel protection plans because sometimes things happen. You know, you want to make sure that your trip, you have a good, solid investment in your trip. It's real important. And I used to think to myself, I don't want to get this stuff, it's just a waste of money. Now that, so many things have happened in our world, even when I fly home to Dallas to go visit my family from Denver, I buy it. Because you just don't know. I mean, something might happen and you want to be careful and you want to be sure. So we have what's called travel protection plans. Now there's two different kinds of plans. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know if it's going to be on here. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be on here. Let me look one more time. Travel protection plans. And then I will let you know how much they are. Okay, he's going to go ahead and pull it up, but let me go ahead and tell you a little bit about it. We offer two different travel protection plans, and of course, it's a personal decision for each family to decide if they decide if they want to do this or not. The first plan is called Travel Protection Plus. It's $149. You can purchase it up to 110 days prior to you departing on your trip. It protects your investment if your bags get lost or stolen, if your passport gets lost or stolen, if you become ill on the trip, if a family member, if somebody passes away in your family, if there's a flight cancellation or interruption. That's $149. So that's one way. The other one we have is called Travel Protection Plus, and that's $249. You need to purchase that within 14 days of enrolling on the trip. And with that one, it's really great because you have a cancel for any reason clause in it. So let's say 2 days before you travel and you say, I'm sick, something happened, or we have a family emergency, we have to cancel. If you cancel your trip within 2 days of departure, you can receive 75% of your fees, your non-refundable fees and payments. So that really does protect your program. We have a lot of people that purchase that, and so I would strongly suggest that this is something that you purchase if you feel like you need it. Okay? So that's just the first one. He just brought it up. It provides enhanced coverage for cancellation for covered reasons. Ultimate travel protection is the cancel for any reason benefit. And that's where you can cancel your trip up to 48 hours before departure. And I've got 2 examples of that. And these are true examples. I had one student going on a trip. He was going on a trip with his teacher to Italy from Byron Nelson High School in Flower Mound, Texas. and he got really, really sick before the trip. He didn't know what was going on. He collapsed. His parents took him to the emergency room, found out he was non-malignant. Goodness gracious, that's a wonderful thing, but he had a non-malignant brain tumor. His doctor said he can't travel. He canceled the trip 2 days before, and they got their money back. I had another situation from a school, it was actually in California, where a student found out, well, my girlfriend's not going, so I don't want to go either. He canceled his trip 2 days before departure. He got 75% of his money back because he purchased this plan. True story. So it's entirely up to you, but I mean, I was something I would discuss with your families. Just to let you know, one other thing. These plan prices for all WorldStrides are going up as of April the 5th. Travel protection itself, I'll let you know what they're going to be increasing to, so that way you are informed. This will be increasing to $190. Travel protection, $190 as of April the 5th. The ultimate travel protection will be increasing to $379 as of April 5th. That is company-wide. So if you would like to enroll on the trip and you feel you need to have one of these plans, I would do so before the 5th of April, because you'll get this pricing right now. So if you don't do that, then the standard cancellation policy applies, and that is it right there. That is our standard cancellation policy. So I just wanted you to be completely well informed of everything. All right. So that is everything that I have about the trip, the itinerary, how to enroll, the cancellation plans, what is included, how we take care of you, all the stuff. So Mr. Schjodt had the fun part, I had the nuts and bolts part. So we're going to go ahead and try to answer any questions that you may have, and if your question pops up tonight when you go home, and it's something for me, please email Mr. Schjodt and I will respond to him within 24 hours. I'm pretty fast with my email. So, okay. What questions do you have for either me or Mr. Schjodt about the program?
Future.
Do you happen to know how long this flight is going to be? I'm not completely serious.
26 hours.
29 hours.
What?
No, it's not that long. No, normally a flight to Europe is about, from Denver, you probably go from Denver to another location here in the United States, maybe Chicago or Philadelphia or New York, and then you would fly over to Venice. So I'm going to say probably your whole time flying total would be maybe between 8 to 10 hours.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is the room sharing assigned or by choice?
For trips like this, when it gets a little closer to departure, students are given the opportunity to sign up with I call them soulmates, or a group of 3, and so those will be the people they end up staying. Adam?
Did I hear, aside from like chaperone options, that parents could buy and join the trip as well, potentially?
Yes, so parents, if you're thinking, ooh, this could be a fun family vacation, you're right, it could be. And so if you want to go as a family, you can all register. One parent, both parents, if there are siblings in consideration as well. You can all register as individual travelers for this trip and go along.
Oh, and yeah, that's a really good question. A thing to just note, if you're going to go as a family and do this, you can't all enroll at the same time on the same webpage. You have to all enroll one at a time. So like dad would enroll, boom, he's done. Then you have to log back on, so mom could enroll, boom, she's done. And then kiddo. So that's how you have to enroll. So just to make you aware of that.
So should we log in, set up the login as the child that's going or the adult?
You're going to have separate logins.
If the adult's not going.
Then you do it for the child.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that double login the same for twin sisters?
No, individuals, because you each have your own individual account number.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So, are you going to do fundraising opportunities?
Okay, so yeah, I got a couple of things here about costs that I'm happy to share. In fact, you can take this up with your local state senators. Individual fundraisers in Colorado are not permitted. Okay? We, as the local music program, I, as the teacher, cannot set up and track, ooh, this student raised $500, this student did $200 worth of work. I can't do that. It's illegal in this state. However, what was being shared up here with that online platform is a student-specific, and that doesn't go through myself or the school or the state of Colorado. Okay. In addition to that, though, yes, we can do group fundraisers. Those sometimes have great returns. Those sometimes have, cool, let's spend 8 hours on a Saturday doing a car wash. Here's $500 to spread across 50 travelers. Was it worth the $10? Because those get divided evenly. And so a couple other ideas that have come up. I have to give credit to Mr. Funk for this one. There was a student in band. I don't know if it was like a GoFundMe, but it wasn't a GoFundMe. Maybe like the Next Door, is that an app or something or other? A student set up an account for themselves and reached out to the neighbors saying, hey, this is what I'm doing, through one of those online platforms. They could spam it out via social media. And that is a great way. And there was actually a student who funded their entire band trip a couple of years ago by doing that. This is also, especially for younger students who maybe have not started a part-time job yet, this is also a wonderful opportunity to families to discuss financial responsibility and maybe jump into that part-time employment working towards those goals. And so that's another conversation you can have as a family. And then the big one, think about grandparents. Oftentimes, you have grandparents who would love to send their grandkid on a trip like this, or maybe even travel along. And so reach out to those people. So, long story short, yes, we can do fundraiser things. I will kind of let student and family interest drive how hard we push that. Yeah.
I was curious, having freshmen, what other travel opportunities in vocal music will be over their next few years?
Provided we don't have any more pandemics anytime soon, we're in a nice rotation of traveling every other year. And so in 2019, we went to New York City. In 2021, RIP, we were supposed to go to England and Ireland. Of course, that one didn't happen. In 2021, was it? 23. When did we go to SoCal? 23. So last year we went to Southern California. And then, so we'll do the Italy thing next year, and then 27, it'll be someplace domestic again, with that domestic international alternating. Yep.
If you get more than the magic 57, will students be given priority over adults who are non-chaperone?
That's a fantastic question. So once we get over 57, including adults, we need an additional 18 in order to have a second bus. And so there's sort of going to be a soft cap at 57. And so if you're one of those first folks to sign up, great. If we skyrocket beyond that, then we're going to have no problems. Kelly?
It sounds like there are a lot of separate links to different things. Are those all accessible from the one website, or will we have like an email with all the different things?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. So what I'm going to do tomorrow is I'm going to email Mr. Schjodt an email template with all of those links, so that way you have access to everything. The phone numbers, the links, the websites, all of it. So I hope that's helpful. Okay, and I want to piggyback on something you said about the Get to Edu educational performance travel. I've had students take that link, and if they've babysat, or if they've mowed lawns or done odd jobs, they've said, well, rather than pay me $50 for watching your 4-year-old for 3 hours, how about you sign up and give me money for my trip instead, or do that, donate to my trip. And that's a really good thing to think about if you decide you want to do that, so that way you know exactly where the money's going to go. It's going to go towards your trip. So.
Again, about the traveler's insurance, you said on Friday it goes up, or after Friday it goes up?
On Friday, April 5th, it will increase
At midnight or
at 3
Crack of dawn.
a.m. 3 a.m.
on the
April
5th?
Yes, sir.
So that means before.
So 2 a.m. you're good.
2 a.m. you're good. 3 a.m. so you can stay up if you want. That's up to you. But yeah, it increases company-wide, and I don't have any control over that. So yeah.
So it's Thursday, you're flying. You want to get that done.
Absolutely. I would say Thursday would be the last day to, and when you log on to the website and you decide to enroll, it's going to give you those options. It's going to give you that pricing, the $149, $249, but then on Friday it's going to roll over. So yeah.
Kelly, back to your question. I have already started a Google folder with documents and information that will also be shared along with the links, along with a link to a YouTube of the video of tonight's meeting if anybody needs to review anything from that, as well as have a chance to share it with the folks who couldn't be here in person this evening.
So if you're the 58th adult that goes just recreationally and you're evicted, do you get a full refund of that money?
We would know that well in advance. So our first deadline is April 18th. If on April 18th we're sitting at 58 people,
That's a very good question. We're gonna do, well, it depends. Do you want to cap your trip at 57 or do you want to go higher than that?
I want everybody to go.
Okay, well, there you go. So if that happens, let's say that you're the 15th of the, okay, cancellation, let me go on that, do that first of all. When you enroll on the trip and you decide the next day, I don't want to go, you have 24 hours to cancel with full refund. 24 hours. That's a hard cap. That's a WorldStrides rule. If you are the 58, 59, 60, 61st person, then we will need to request that second bus. There is that potential. There may be a bit of a cost increase because we have to fill that second bus or get at least 18 in at minimum. So that's where things are. So we're going to shoot for 57 and hopefully more is what we're looking at, right? That's what we want, really, yeah. But if I have to request a bigger bus, Italy, the largest bus size is actually 63, 64. I can request a bigger bus. That's not a problem either.
So, yeah.
But what he's saying is that if we don't get the full additional, will those extras, the latest registrants, get their money back without penalty from your company?
we would err on the side of securing a second bus, which might be a cost increase, but depending upon what that is, I can talk to Christy and the school and maybe help offset that if it is a substantial jump, rather than, denying this opportunity for everyone. But my take is no, there is a no full refund after 24 hours.
Full refund after 24 hours.
It becomes unsafe to travel to Italy, full refund, I assume.
It's unsafe. Geopolitical fun.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. If WorldStrides deems it unsafe to travel, yes. Simple as that. If they deem it unsafe to travel, if there's a world event going on in Italy or in your location, and they say, we cannot send these groups to Italy because of this going on, then yes, that's how that works. But WorldStrides has to make that cancellation. That's how that works. So.
Yeah, right here in the...
In order to do the insurance by the 5th, we have to be registered for the trip by the 5th?
If you would like to purchase the cancellation protection plans, one or the other, at the $149 or the $249 rate, you have to do that, enroll and purchase one of those two by April the 4th. After April the 5th, you can still purchase the cancellation plans, but the pricing will increase from $190 for the travel protection plan and $379 for the ultimate protection plan, and that's the one with the two-day cancellation clause in it.
But you first have to have your trip.
You have to be enrolled. You have to be enrolled in the trip, yes.
Yeah.
How are chaperones selected? And there is a difference between chaperone and adult paying to attend, correct?
Correct. So the folks who end up chaperoning, the price of their airfare, hotel, and whatnot is woven into the per student price. That's the way that the school district has us do these things. Adults who are registering to go can go to bed at the end of the night. The chaperones have the They have the student management, student oversight, student safety piece, that additional responsibility. In truth, we all kind of go as the same group, but the responsibility piece is where the chaperone versus non-chaperone comes into play. Now, how the chaperone process will work. If we have 20 kids signing up, I will take them with Ms. Permenko. Done. If we have 40 students signing up, then we need to find a couple of extra adults. If we have 60, so on and so forth, the 10-to-1 ratio. Once we have a solid list, a solid roster of the number of students going, I will reach out to everyone and say, hey, if you're interested in being a chaperone for this trip, please complete this application process. Now the trick is, that won't happen until we know exactly who's going. And so if you're interested in going on the trip, but you're also interested in being on the chaperone, at this point, it's kind of a decision that needs to be made. Yes, I'm going on the trip, I should register. Or, you know, if I go as a chaperone, that would be awesome. If I get a week off from my child, that would also be awesome. Then those folks can hang back.
Is there like a limit to like the adults to student ratio?
I know that.
Jackson, that's a great question. So the how it's worked in the contract with WorldStrides, if we have 80 people register and 40 of them are adults, we still take 8 chaperones. Because for every 10 registrants, we have that chaperone spot. But Jackson, you won't be 21 yet, so you can't chaperone. Okay, yeah.
She went on an international trip in middle school. They had adult chaperones at all times. You mentioned free time. What's the adult supervision while in Italy?
Yeah, that's a really great question. When I was leading trips with my group, the largest group I ever took was 53, and I took them to Italy. And so I had a lot of parents go with me. And whenever we had our free time, I had my parents, and mine was a 1-to-6 ratio at the time. So what I did is I told my parents, okay, you are responsible for your child and for the other 4 or 5, and you need to stay with them at all times. You cannot let them just wander aimlessly down the street to just go to this shop or that shop. If one wants to go to a shop, you all go to a shop. If one wants to eat at this cafe, you all eat there. Because you want to make sure that your child's safe. Because, I mean, they're in a foreign country. And Italy is one of the safest, if not the safest country in Europe. However, you just want to be mindful because there are pickpockets. So chaperones are usually responsible for ensuring that the students are awake in the morning and they are out the door and that they are in the room asleep at night. They're responsible for ensuring that the students, if they have to take a certain medication, that they got it. If they run out of money, the chaperone ensures that the student has, you know, enough money to get them moving forward and going. The chaperone makes sure that they do a head count, make sure all those children are there when they need to be there, and that's real important. So, I mean, for me personally, that's what I did, and it worked out really, really well. One other final thing is, I'm going to send Mr. Schjodt a link to the WorldStrides Performing Arts Terms and Conditions. I strongly suggest, please read the document so that way you know everything there is to know about signing up and enrolling in a program. I hope that answered your question about chaperones.
Any last questions for the group? I will stay back and answer individual questions as they arise, but does anybody have any final questions for the whole group?
That's another really, really great question. I would suggest, in all my years of traveling, the best thing to take is either your debit card and let your bank know that you're going to be traveling. That's the first thing, first and foremost. So make sure that you take a debit card, let your bank know you're traveling overseas so they won't cut you off when you're overseas because you're using an ATM machine. I would also put about $40 to $60 American in an envelope. and seal it and give it to your chaperone and Mr. Schjodt. So if your child loses their wallet or it is stolen or they run out of money, they have extra money that your tour director can help get exchanged. Cash. Italy takes the euro, so it's good to have cash on hand when you get there. There is a bank machine. You can do two things. You can either go through your local bank, if they do this, and request euros, so that way you have them when you travel, because a lot of places also take cash. Or when you go to Europe and you get to Italy, go to a bank machine at a bank. Do not use the Travelex in the airport. Do not use the money exchanges, because they're going to charge you ridiculous rates and fees. Go to a bank and get your money out of the bank machine, because it's usually just a 1% fee. That's all you pay. It's really kind of nice exchange rate. But that's what I would do. I would also suggest that you get the xe.com app, and that will give you the currency exchange rates for everything, from the US dollar to the British pound to the euro to everything. I would get that so that way you know exactly how much money you're going to need. I suggest students take about, on average, about $20 to $40 a day equivalent American. So that way they can get souvenirs and they can go ahead and buy lunch. So that's what I would suggest. Cash or a Visa card, making sure that you let your bank know where you're traveling and how long you will be gone. So I hope that answers your question.
So coming up this weekend, I'll be posting ensemble results for next year's ensembles. Don't sit around and wait for that. When we travel as one group, as one choir, so anything you might see this weekend is going to have absolutely no bearing on how that trip to Italy happens. I will be up here for a few minutes if you have any other questions. Thank you so much for visiting tonight, and see you on the flip side.